guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to try something a little bit different, something that isn't fashion related. I wanted to make a video where you guys can kind of get to know me a little bit better because there are so many other things that I love, and something I really do love and am passionate about is music. Now, normally people my age, I'm 24, they go out on weekends, go out drinking, go out to clubs. I'm not into that. What I like doing is I like going to shows and concerts and just listening to music. I love music. It's really all over the place what I listen to, everything from pop to metal to pop punk and everything in between. So I just kind of want to share with you guys what I'm listening to currently. I'll be sharing some favorite singles, favorite songs, but mostly albums, and I'll be recommending a favorite song off of each one that I hope you guys do check out. So now that I have my coffee, let's get started. So the very first song that I like listening to recently is from Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. If you don't know who Frank Carter is, he used to be part of a punk band called Gallows, who are massive in the UK and pretty much just everywhere else. But a few years ago, he started his own band called Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, and it's such a different vibe compared to Gallows, and I love it. I started listening to them really when they released their second album, Modern Ruin, and this Friday, which is today when you guys are watching this, they're going to be releasing their third album called End of Suffering, and they have 3 singles out so far, and I love them all, but my favorite one has to be one that they released this week, and it is a song called Kitty Sucker. Now, it's quite an interesting song, interesting topic, but I just love the song itself. It's got such a happy vibe to it. You just want to jump around to it, and I can see it being a really good live song. I've been addicted to it since it came out. I cannot stop listening to it. It's on repeat. It's just a really good song, and I think is probably the perfect definition of what Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes sounds like. So if you want to get into them, I highly recommend this song. It's so good. So something else I've been listening to actually came out this Monday, and it's from one of my favorite bands called Northlane. I absolutely love Northlane. Their last album, Mesmer, blew my mind, and I've been obsessed with them ever since the album came out. And they're releasing an album this August, and I'm super excited, but they just released the second single off the album called Bloodline. Now, I gotta be honest, it did take me a few listens to kind of get into the song. It was a different sound compared to what I'm used to for Northlane, and it is a little bit more, I guess you could say, radio-friendly for this kind of genre of music, but it is such a good song. What I love about Northlane is that they mix screams, singing, and synths just perfectly like no one else can do, and I really love the song Bloodline. It's really personal as well to lead singer Marcus. If you just read the lyrics, you can see that it's kind of like about his childhood and growing up. But it's just a crazy good song. I've been listening to it nonstop, and I'm hoping I can see this live in Vancouver or in England. I don't know yet, but hopefully I get to see Northlane at some point in the future. So something else I've been obsessed with recently is from Taylor Swift. Now, if you know anything about me, I love Taylor Swift. She's my guilty pleasure. I am obsessed with her. There is nothing that I would want more than to look like her. I just love everything she represents, and her music is just so much fun, and I really love her. So she just released a new song with Brendon Urie from Panic! At the Disco. Now, for me, this is like the perfect combination. It combines 2 people that I really love. I love Taylor Swift, and I love Panic! At the Disco, so this is just kind of the best of both worlds. So the song is called Me. It's very poppy. It's kind of the way Taylor Swift does it when she releases her first single. She kind of goes with a more fun, poppier song. Now, I gotta say, it wasn't my favorite. There are a few corny bits in the song, like they go, "Hey kids, smelling is fun." That part kind of gets me, and I kind of loses me, and I don't really like it. But the rest of the song, I love. It's just so fun, and I can kind of see where she's going with it. I'm super excited to see what the new album's going to be like. I'm hoping, again, I get to see her on her upcoming tour when she announces it. Yeah, it's just a really good song. If you like Taylor Swift or Brendon Urie, it's a really cool song to check out. So it seems like everybody these days is kind of talking about Billie Eilish. Now, I didn't really listen to Billie Eilish for quite some time, but her songs are always on the radio and kind of in every store I go to. So I've been kind of checking out her music recently, and her new album came out, and I've been obsessed with one song, and it is Bad Guy. I think it's such a cool, crazy, weird song, but it's just awesome. I can't stop listening to it. It just literally makes you feel like a badass, and I'm addicted. I don't really know what else to say. She's 17 and she's so creative, and the songs she puts out are just amazing. Really good for her. I wish I was that talented at 17, but Bad Guy from Billie Eilish is one of my favorites. I do like her other songs, but not as much as this one. So going back away from pop music into the metal world, a band that I really love and have since I was a teenager is Motionless in White. I absolutely love Motionless in White. I started really listening to them when Creatures came out, and they have a new album coming out, I think this June? I'm not entirely sure, but they released 2 singles a few weeks ago, and they are so good. if you like Motionless in White and you've listened to Creatures, then this album, I feel like, is gonna have the same vibe. You can just tell by the lead single Disguise and the other song Brand New Numb that it does have the same vibe as Creatures, and I'm super excited because I think that's when Motionless in White were at their best. Don't get me wrong, I've loved all their other albums, but there's just something about Creatures that is literally the definition of Motionless in White. It's made them so different, and it's honestly what made them stand out in the music scene. But the one song I really do like is Brand New Numb. It's different, but it does have that Creatures vibe to it still. But I really like how Chris Motionless kind of changes the sound up a little bit. It sounds like Marilyn Manson, so if you're into that, then probably this song will be for you. But I'm just super excited to see what the rest of this album is going to be like, because I love Motionless in White. I didn't really like their last album. I wasn't too crazy about it, but there were some good songs on it. But I'm really hoping that this does have the Creatures vibe like I'm hoping for. So if you know anything about me, you know that I love pop punk. A lot of my favorite bands are in this genre, like All Time Low. I am obsessed with All Time Low. I love them. They're just honestly one of my favorites. And recently, the lead singer Alice Gaskarth and Mark Hoppus from Blink-182 decided to start a side project together, which is so random, but it works. I guess they've kind of been friends for quite some time, and they started their new side project called Simple Creatures, and they released an EP called Strange Love. Now, this is definitely pop punk, but it's a different kind of sound that you would get from All Time Low and Blink-182. It's just completely different, but it's so good. I think there's about 5 songs on this EP, and it's just very experimental for pop punk. And one song I really love is How to Live. It starts off slow, but it does have those pop punk elements, and it's just a really good song. I don't know how else to explain it other than it's really good. If you like pop punk or any of these bands in that genre, I highly do recommend you check out Simple Creatures. You do kind of have to give it a chance because it's not the same vibe that you'd normally get. It is experimental, but it's so good. Speaking of All Time Low, I've been really listening to their last album, Last Young Renegade, which came out, I think, 2 years ago. I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me on that, but I love All Time Low, but there's one song on here that I really love, and it's called Dirty Laundry. It's my favorite All Time Low song, I think, other than Lost in Stereo, but that will always have a special place in my heart. But Dirty Laundry, I think, came at a time where I really needed to hear some things, and it's just a really nice pop punk song. It's slow, but there are some fast, fun bits to it, and it's just really great. Last Young Renegade was not my favorite All Time Low album. I do have to admit, I will always love Nothing Personal, but I am super excited to check out their new stuff when they do decide to release things, and I can't wait for that day. So another pop punk band I love is Seaway, and they're Canadian, just like I am, so they have a special place in my heart. And I can't remember where I saw them first. I think it was when they were opening up for Silverstein here in Vancouver, and I absolutely fell in love with them at that moment. And ever since then, I've been really listening to their album Vacation, and there's this song on there called London, which has a special place in my heart and kind of hints at what's happening in the future if you listen to the very first verse. So this song is definitely the soundtrack of my upcoming year, and I can't wait to share that with you guys when I do decide to announce that. But yeah, Seaway Vacations, it's a really good album. London specifically is a really great song. There's also a song on Vacation that has Caleb Shomo from Beartooth in it, which is a really weird combo, but it works. The last pop punk band I want to talk about is Movement, and it's their album Feel Something. Now, I randomly stumbled upon Movement. I know they were really popular in the pop punk scene, but I'm kind of in this phase of my life where I'm not really discovering new bands, so when I do, it's very random and very few far in between. So when I discovered Movement, I instantly fell in love with them, specifically the song called, I think it's Daylily. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to call it. But it's pretty much about having anxiety and all of that stuff and kind of going through it and wanting a pink cloud summer, which is a good day. And whenever I'm feeling down or just need a little pick-me-up, this song really gets me through it. It lifts me up. The whole album, though, Feel Something, is great from start to finish. It is pop punk, but it's a little bit slower and just a little bit more emo, I guess you could say, but it's a really good album. I love Movement. I hope I get to see them one day. I've been obsessed with them recently. So going back into the hardcore world, another band that I absolutely love is While She Sleeps, and they just released their new album, So What, I think a few months ago. And I honestly really love this album. What I love about While She Sleeps is that with every new album they put out, they're always making slight progressions in their music, but they always sound like While She Sleeps. It's not like other bands out there where they completely change their sound, which I will talk about in a few minutes. But what I love about While She Sleeps is that they do have that sound throughout each and every album, but they do make some progression. And one song I really love off of this is The Guilty Party. I really love the choir kind of in the beginning. It's just such a great song, and then it just kind of goes into a hardcore heavy song. I just love it. I've only seen While She Sleeps about twice, so I'm really hoping they do a tour somewhere here or in England that I can go to, because this album is really good from start to finish. There's a lot of songs on there that are really great, but So What is definitely my favorite. If you want to get into hardcore, I suggest listening to While She Sleeps. They're really great, but they're also, I don't know, they're just different from everybody else in the genre. They're one of my favorites for sure. So another band that I have loved since high school and still listen to today is a band called Dance Gavin Dance. Now over the past few years, they've gone through a couple of lead singers. Johnny Craig used to be their main lead singer. He's not in that band anymore. In fact, I don't really think he's in any band these days, which is kind of makes sense. But ever since Tilian joined Dance Gavin Dance, I have been obsessed with them. They recently released a new album called Artificial Selection, and I am obsessed with it from start to finish. It is a great album. What I really love about Dance Gavin Dance, though, is the mixture of singing and screaming, and Tilian just has such an amazing voice. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just so good and it's so different. There's no one in this genre that has a voice like Tilian. My favorite song does have to be Care, just because it shows off his voice so well, but there are those hardcore elements in there with screaming and heavy riffs and stuff like that. It's just a great album. Again, check out Dance Gavin Dance. They're so good. They've been my favorite for years, and they only keep getting better. So I wanted to save my last four for my absolutely top four favorites, and these are bands that I've been listening to for quite some time, or maybe more so recently. The first band I want to talk about is 21 Pilots. Now, 21 Pilots, everyone's been obsessed with, and I honestly was a little bit late to listen to them. They're on the radio and I listened to all their singles and stuff like that, but it took me a long time to kind of actually go out and listen to their other albums, and they announced that they were doing a show here in Vancouver for my birthday, and I decided, hey, why not? It's my birthday, let's just go. And so I bought tickets, and ever since then I have been obsessed with 21 Pilots because I've been actively listening to the albums, and honestly, they're just so crazy talented. I can't even explain to you how much talent they have. It's just two people, and they create such awesome music. So much so that when I was in England in March, I actually went to go see them at Wembley? Yeah, Wembley Arena, I think. And it was one of the craziest shows I've been to, and I'm super excited to go see them again on my birthday. They have honestly become one of my favorite bands. My favorite song is off of the album Vessels, which honestly is my favorite album of theirs. And it is the song Holding On To You. I just think it's the perfect song that embodies everything 21 Pilots is about. And it's just so fun. And yeah, I really love 21 Pilots. I don't know why it took me such a long time to get into them, but I'm glad I did. And I'm glad I got to see them, and will be seeing them again. Another band I have been obsessed with is Enter Shikari. Now, I've loved Enter Shikari for quite some time. I think ever since I was in high school. Again, I don't really listen to new bands, so for me, I've always listened to these bands since high school. But Enter Shikari released the album The Spark, and it is definitely different compared to their other albums. There's not much screaming in it as the other albums do have, but I love it. I really love how Rao took chances on this album and kind of made it a little bit more personal, I think, compared to other albums, but I really love it. My favorite song, I think, has to be Shinrin Yoku. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I don't know, that's how I think you pronounce it. I really love this song. It's about being outside and being with nature and how it makes you feel. But what I love about it is just, it just shows off his accent so well, and I just love British accents. So for me, it's really good, but it's also slow. It has trumpets in there. I don't know. It's the perfect Enter Shikari song, and what I also love about it is how it leads into the next song, which is Undercover Agents, which is also one of my favorite songs off The Spark. But Shinrin Yoku always just makes me feel so good when I'm anxious or sad or just need something to make me happy. It's one of the songs that I do put on right away. It's one of my favorites, and I love it. So the second last band I want to talk about is Architects. I absolutely love Architects. They've gone through a lot as a band, especially the last few years with Tom Searle dying, and they actually just released, I think it was at the end of last year, their new album, Holy Hell, and it was the first album that they did without Tom Searle, who honestly was one of their main writers, so everyone was kind of just wondering what this new album was going to be like, and quite honestly, I think it is one of Architects' best albums. I think if you look at the lyrics and the writing behind it, there's so much meaning behind it. Just because of everything that they've gone through, they put their heart and soul in it just to make sure that they can continue on Tom's legacy, and I think they did a fantastic job of it. It's crazy good, and it's still Architects, but it's different, and again, I love bands that kind of progress throughout each album, and it's just crazy good. My favorite song is Royal Beggars. I love how it just starts off soft with Sam singing, and then it goes into your hardcore screaming kind of vibe. I really love it. It's great, and I can't wait to see them live, hopefully again soon, because this album's going to be so great live. I cannot wait to hear it. So obviously I saved the best for last, which is my favorite band ever. If you don't know who it is, which is surprising because I always talk about them on my channel, but it's Bring Me the Horizon's new album, Ammo. I love Bring Me. They are always constantly pushing themselves, pushing boundaries, and creating new styles of sound, and nothing is ever the same. And Ammo is no different compared to every other album, especially even compared to That's the Spirit. Ammo is so different, but it's so good from start to finish. Bring Me has been one of my favorite bands since high school. They've gotten me through quite a bit, but Ammo has kind of gotten me through a hard situation. If you listen to Ammo, it's kind of just like, there's a story about it. Ammo means love, and it kind of starts off with, you know, falling in love and then going through a hard time and kind of realizing that person isn't for you, but then you either find or hope to find another person that is made for you and you just click with. But then it also kind of deals with people who say that they love you, who criticize you, and also losing someone you love. And these are all things I think that we all go through at some point in our lives. And for me, this album just really resonated with the time of my life that I'm in. And yeah, I really love it. Ollie Sykes sounds great. Jordan just did an amazing job producing this album and kind of mixing it all together and creating different sounds. And if you can't tell, I just really love it from start to finish. It's just so good. They did break my heart. I won't lie, Bring Me kind of broke my heart. I was supposed to go see them in Las Vegas in February, and the day I was supposed to fly there, they actually canceled their show. I can't be too mad because Ollie Sykes was sick, but I was beyond devastated because everybody knows how much I love Bring Me. So I'm hoping that I do get to see them at some point soon, maybe in England, maybe at a festival. I don't really know, but at some point I really do hope I get to see them because this album's going to be so good live, and I'm excited to see how they can perform it, if they can perform it, because there's an awful lot of singing on this album. My favorite song, it's a really hard one to pick because everything's just so good, but it's either between In the Dark, which is something I can really relate with and honestly got me through a lot, but another song I like is Sugar, Honey, Ice, and Tea, which I think is just a great song. It's so fun. The name is fun. Yeah, it's just so good. If you want to kind of get into hardcore, I would say this is a really good gateway album if you want to go down the tunnel that is Bring Me the Horizon's career. Start off with Ammo, work your way backwards through all the discography, and you'll get into hardcore and metal, definitely. But if you just kind of look where Bring Me started compared to now, there's a crazy difference. And I just think they've done so good, and yeah, I love them. Ammo, check it out. So that is the music that I love and have been listening to recently. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about me. If you guys want to leave a comment down below of your favorite artist or band, I would love to check them out. I'm always up for listening to new music. So yeah, I'd really appreciate that. If you guys like this video, then make sure you click the like button down below and subscribe to my channel. I make a video every Friday. There's some crazy exciting stuff coming in the future, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out, and I'll see you guys next week. You need a taste of